Perfect, perfect.
So everybody, I'm Wanda Baader from Strategize Your Success. I'm an online marketing expert, and I have a boutique marketing agency in Tucson, Arizona. Tish, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do, because a lot of people out there might not know you.
Absolutely. Once again, good morning, everybody. My name is Tish Times. I am a networking strategist. So basically, I work with specifically entrepreneurs who network already, to network more effectively, to network more profitably, which is important if we are in business. We want to make sure that we're actually making money. I also work with corporations who have sales teams and associates who represent that organization to make sure that they are true brand evangelists for those organizations. And I am just super excited to be with Wanda today. I'm actually in the Phoenix Valley, and so we're just a stone's throw away from each other. But I just love what I do, and I'm putting together a conference I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later, specifically around networking more effectively. But on a daily basis, I'm either working with, speaking, writing about networking. It's definitely the heartbeat of our business, and I love it with all my heart.
Yes, and if our audience has questions about networking as we're having this conversation today, please go ahead and type it over. Okay, Dan, remind me, is it /Q or Q /?
No, /Q.
Okay, so if you put in
correct.
/Q, then ask your question. It will let us know that you have a question. And if we can, we'll bring you on live to ask the question, or if you just prefer, we can answer it from the chat. So just let us know. I know it makes it a lot easier for us if you do have questions, because I know Tish loves them.
I do.
And Dan, since you're joining us here, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself? And I know that you're
Sure.
a little bit ahead of us in time right now.
Yes, yeah, it's 11 o'clock here in Kansas City, and we've had some great rain. I got my yard mowed just in time on Saturday. We've had 3 days of rain, so I was so proud of myself for my timing, impeccable. So, so Dan Goodwin, ourconnectedlives.com, business coach here in Kansas City, and I also love the subject of networking, and I'm excited to hear what Tish has to share with us, because I know it's always good that we walk away with at least one nugget from every meeting, or meet that one person every meeting. So I'm excited to sit back and I'll ride shotgun and help you. I'll try to answer questions or try to get people in. So whatever you need me to do, Wanda, I'm here. Okay, and Tish too. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Well, if you just joined us, I know I see that we've got some new joiners here. Today's topic is we're talking about networking. And Tish is from Higher Times Coaching and Training. And she actually also has an upcoming conference that we want to chat about too, because if you're able to attend, if you're in the Phoenix area or anywhere close by, or if you want to fly in, obviously, that's another way to do it. But we will definitely be telling you a little bit about that, because it's coming next week. And I'm so excited because I'm going to be there. Hooray!
Yay! I'm so glad.
So, and if you're new to Blab, you'll see little hands to the bottom, and they're called props. So if you hear something you like, give us some props so that we know that we're right on target with the conversation as to what you're, wanting to hear about. And it's like sending some love to us. So we appreciate those props.
Absolutely.
So Tish, why don't you go ahead and start us off and just tell us a little bit about what you want to talk about today in regards to networking.
Well, actually, Wanda, there's several things I could talk all day about networking realistically, but I really want to specifically talk a little bit about using networking as part of your overall sales process, and ensuring that we don't see it as something completely separate, that we don't see it as something that's a social activity only. I'm big about making friends with networking. A lot of the people with whom I have great relationships with started off in a networking, setting or a networking event, people that I do business with as well. However, that being said, I think specifically as women, and Dan, I'd love to hear your feedback on this because I talk a lot about the female perspective as it relates to networking, not only, but a lot about it. As women, sometimes we find ourselves really focusing on grabbing lots of buddies and never, ever getting to the place of creating a business relationship where we're actually exchanging dollars. And that for me it's big because I get it. For many years, I kind of danced around the whole not wanting to ask for the money, not wanting to take it to the next level, or not articulating my value in such a way to where people wanted to go to that next level. And so I believe that networking is an entry point to our sales process. And it definitely is emotional. It is heart-centered. I believe that we should have those emotional connections. But if they only stay emotional connections, I say then, go out to a movie, go out to an amusement park with a buddy and don't really call it, business networking at least. So I really would love to hear any questions that you all may have as it relates to how you are networking. And I see Leah, and I'm going to say Leah JS. I don't know if it's, just Leah, but she says we're always networking, even as little kids in schools. That's so true. There's what I call structured networking, the kind where we put on a name tag and walk into a room and, everybody's there for the same reason. But there's so many more opportunities to network. I mean, when I'm standing in the grocery store line, I'm networking. I'm talking to the cashiers. I very seldom go to the self-service lines because I can't talk to anybody at the self-service line. Right, my whole thing is I want to be able to talk to somebody, right? I want to be able to make a connection. So I do believe we're always networking. It's just really figuring out how to network the most effectively as possible to ensure that people see who we are, they see what we bring to the table, and we speak it in such a way, we articulate it in such a way to where they want more, they recognize that they need the solution we provide.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Networking is actually how I met Dan and you. So if it had been for networking, it's like the first time that I met Tish, she was actually at a success summit in LA. And she was one of the presenters. And I connected with her and her associate Kina at the time. And there was just some synergy there with us. And, after we came back, one of my strategic partners and I went up to Phoenix, Gabby, and we met with you. And I just felt that great connection with you. And I love what you do and what you stand for. And Dan also, it's like, Dan, I met you through Cynthia, which was another strategic connection. And Dan's just wonderful. He is really good at networking with other people. And I love that. I love connecting and making my world bigger by meeting new people all the time.
So true.
And I think that's important because we are attracted. I mean, those that resonate with us are who we're attracted to.
Yes.
And I do a whole 20-minute speech on the thin threads of relationships and challenge people in the room to figure out, how did you get here today? Right. And who did you meet? And who invited you to this networking event? And it's just those random meetings, those thin threads that sometimes one introduction can change the course of your life and or the course of your business also.
Absolutely.
Right. I firmly believe that. And I've seen that happen as well, Dan. So I completely appreciate that.
Yeah. And it's like, if you have any questions, and if you just joined, I just saw we had a new person join. We're talking about networking today, and this can be local networking. It can be online connections. I've met a lot of people initially through an online connection and then later met them in person at a conference.
Right.
Or, I've made strategic partnerships through networking. And you can do it at arm's length. It doesn't have to be somebody who's in your backyard necessarily, because with today's technology, we just have it so easy. We really do, in being able to reach further in our businesses. Don't you think so, Tish?
Without a doubt. We have a pretty cool story with our team, because none of my team members actually reside in Phoenix. They're, spread out. And when I first met Kina, believe it or not, we met online. And we knew each other in an online space for, I don't know, nearly a year before we actually met in person. And now she's been our operations manager for almost 2 years. So that relationship initiated with online networking and really understanding how to build a relationship and not just seeing someone as, a name on a screen or seeing someone as someone that you just met in a networking event or whatever the case might be. Really having a different approach and having a true strategy behind networking really changes everything, because some of my best clients, some of the clients that really have been very instrumental in my business, both corporate as well as entrepreneurial, I've met in networking, and I've met some of them very strategically, because I do my online recon before networking events. I know who's going to be in the room in many cases, or I know that the person that I need to meet is going to be there, and I'm going specifically with that purpose in mind. And having done that, I have secured some pretty large contracts by developing those relationships. But if I had not done that pre-work, I never would have gotten in that room. I may not even known they were going to be there, and I definitely would not have known how to nurture that relationship, because I wouldn't have known anything about them. So there's definitely an art to networking. It should be natural. I definitely don't believe in the whole scripted, robotic type of networking, but I still believe we can have systems and we can have strategies behind the way we network so that it is a part of our business process.
Absolutely. And I'm with you, because if I'm going to spend money and invest in going to a conference, for instance, there are people that I have in mind that I want to meet. Sometimes I'll be able to connect with people I already know. But, my idea is that I want to go out there and start a relationship with some new people, to broaden, again, my network and vice versa. It's a two-way street. And I just, I think that a lot of people go to conferences, they might buddy up with somebody, and then they just stayed hunkered down, at that table, just like the two of them just talking. And it's like they're afraid to meet new people, even when they're together. So I know you've said in the past that you consider yourself an introvert, even though you're a public speaker. Yeah. So what would you say to people who feel that they're very introverted at these type of things? What should they do to kind of be able to reach out that comfort zone that they have?
I will tell you a very true and recent story. I was recently, about a month ago now, at the eWomen Network conference with only about 3,000 people, in Dallas, Texas. And I still, believe it or not, I still have to give myself challenges and set goals when I go into networking settings. So I literally, because I am more introverted, my comfort zone is in my room, or I'll find the quietest little corner in the conference room or in the, in the little lobby area. And I will go find that little spot and sit down and pick up my phone and look like I'm busy. I mean, literally, that's my comfort level. So what I have to do is I set a goal for myself. So what I did at that conference is I said, every day I need to have a true connection with 5 people. And I refused to go up to bed until I had 5 true connections. There were nights I didn't get back in the room until like 11 o'clock, and I'm being honest with you. But it was because I am introverted, I have to make myself do things that make me a little uncomfortable. Otherwise, I'll stay in the same place, which means my income remains in the same place. And having done so, I've made some amazing connections of people who I've talked to multiple times since I've left that conference just a month ago, some of whom I'm going to be going to speak at their organizations. I will have some of them coming to my conference. So I know that these things absolutely work. But the thing is, we have to practice getting out of our comfort zone. It's not going to be easy, and it's not comfortable. That's the whole thing behind it. But even I do it. That's why when someone tells me something like, well, it's easy for you because you're a speaker, I'm like, don't play that with me, because I know I have to deal with this every single day. When I get on an airplane, I want to stick my head in a book and just kind of like, don't talk to me. I just want to, have my private alone time. And I have to stop and say, put the book away, take the earbuds out, and turn over and, turn your head and say something to the person beside you. Because otherwise we miss opportunities to have amazing relationships. There's relationships that I have now that if I never would have opened my mouth, because my mouth, like I said, being comfortable, I would normally just stay quiet. those relationships would have never ever developed. So I deal with it every day. So if you're an introvert, I promise you can come out in the sense of being more outgoing as it pertains to networking for your business. I will never tell anyone to change because they're an introvert. I truly believe that instead of, people say, well, you need to come out of your shell. I was like, no, just make the shell work for you. You can live in your shell. You just got to make it work for you so that you're not remaining the same, because change is, I believe, the catalyst for us being able to really touch lives and change other people's businesses. So it's important to me, but I get it. I totally get it.
So hey, Dan, true. You got anything that you want to say about that?
Yeah, I would be the opposite. I would be the one passing out the lampshades for everybody. But anyway, so a quick question. So Tish, so you do your recon, you show up at your networking meeting. So what questions or what key questions do you ask to move the relationship forward? I mean, I know what I do. I'm just curious, what questions do you ask when you think maybe you have a possible some level of relationship, either a client relationship, a strategic alliance, or a joint venture relationship? What questions do you key on at that point?
What I do, number one, I never say that the question everyone asks is, what do you do? Because in all honesty, if I've done my recon, I should know that already. But one thing I want to do is I want to get them talking about themselves. I want them to begin to share with me what solution they're really looking for and who they're really looking to connect with. So I want to hear their story. I want to hear their history. So I may ask something like, Dan, I understand that you've been in, XYZ field for X amount of years. Tell me how you got started there. What led you there? How, why are you excited about what you currently do? Now you get someone talking about themselves, and they're really laying out for you everything that they're excited about, what their passions are, what their goals are in some cases. And so by the time after you've had, asked several questions of that nature, should you get to the point of being able to present a proposal or really, present your services, you have some idea of what solution they're really trying to get to. So I ask questions about their history, about what they're passionate about who they want to work with, what their goals are for the future. Because those don't sound salesy, those sound like I'm truly interested because I am, right? I really am. I want to know. And even if I never do business with that person, I feel like I've gotten to know them in a place that I may have never gotten to know them if I would have done the traditional, hi, my name is Tish, so tell me what you do, that kind of thing. We never get beyond the surface when we ask those kind of questions.
Right.
Absolutely.
So one of the questions I always like to ask to test the waters, if they've identified their greatest challenge and it's something I can help them with, or most of the time we're being connectors, right? I mean, as connectors, we know a lot of people, and it may just to be as simple as an introduction. One of the questions I always seem to come back to after the how can I help you, what's your greatest challenge, is how would you like to move forward? It's a little NLP, and how would you like to move forward? And it leaves that open-ended enough that it gives them the opportunity and plants the thought, we can continue to move forward with this conversation. So I just, some people think that's too aggressive. It's not, because I think once you get in rapport with somebody and add the value, they're not going to see that as a very aggressive forward move that you're there trying to get into their pocketbook.
Dan, I love that. I absolutely love that. I did an interview yesterday, matter of fact. And one of the things that I said, they asked me, what's the difference between the way females network and the way males network? And I specifically said that most women will have a conversation and we'll talk about all of the things, tell me about your kids, tell me about, are you married? What do you like to do? We talk about everything else, but we never walk away with what's next. We never understand, are we even the right person for that particular person? And so that question you just said, I think it really solidifies what I said yesterday, in that many times males are willing to say, okay, so what's next? Where do we go from here? Whereas we walk away, women, with that question of, I wonder if they like me. I wonder if they're going to call me. And it's important that we really understand where we stand in the relationship. So I applaud you for that. I love it. I'm going to steal it. Okay.
you can steal it. And I always leave and say, well, now the next step is, I mean, once we answer that question, well, the next step is, why don't you invite me and get me on your calendar? And it's, if that's uncomfortable with somebody, you've got to be, I heard on a Blab the other day on a conference, you got to have your swagger. You've got to be confident in your message. And once you're confident in your message, you can help these people. It's up to them to decide to pull the trigger and work with you. And, anyway, now you got me preaching, so I'll quit.
I love it. I mean, because if you think about it, when you go to the doctor, you don't want to walk away going, well, I wonder if I should take medicine. I wonder if I should take the day off, or should I go to work? You know what I mean? You want to know, what should I do to get better? And so if we're really clear on who we are, what we do, who we serve, what solution we provide, then we should be able to say, basically, this is your prescription. So I'm going to call you tomorrow. We're going to sit down and talk about this. Now we know exactly what the next steps are, and we know how we can best serve them. Because I think, we do a disservice to someone by having them walk away fuzzy, not knowing what the next step is, not knowing, should I call them? Are they going to call me? Can they even help me? We should, at the very least, have a really clear understanding of what is next. And I love to even add to that, Dan, asking those what I call intelligent questions, because the person asking intelligent questions controls the conversation. It really is important that we're asking the right types of questions. I've developed a networking playbook, and every single week there's a networking plan for you. And every week we give you conversation starters for that very reason, because we don't want you walking into a room going, what do I say? What should I ask? But that being said, the whole thing is, when we're asking the right questions and we're articulating our value in a confident way, in a clear way, realistically, they should be not only waiting for your call. I shouldn't have to explain who I am. There's times when you meet some people, 100 people at a networking event, you call somebody and you're like, my name is Tish. I was the tall lady, I met you by the table with the books on it. If you're super clear in the way that you articulate your business, who you are, what you do, they should be waiting on your call almost, and in some cases they will have called you before you even called them. Right.
You're preaching to the choir. I believe all of that.
Right. Yeah. Excellent points. Now, for our audience, if you have a question, this would be the perfect situation where you could actually ask the experts online here what to do when with any kind of networking phobia that you have or reluctancy. And Tish can, and I'm sure Dan too, can give you some pointers on how to overcome that. And you can, if you're too shy to get on camera, you can ask by doing /Q in the chat, and we'll be sure to get you an answer to your question. Or if you would like to join us, please join us. We have an open seat here, and we'd be glad to bring you into this conversation. So, Tish, I know while we're waiting to see if anybody responds to that, I know that next week, because I'll be attending, you have a wonderful conference that you've put together with some great experts. Tell our audience a little bit about that. Tell us what this conference is all about.
Absolutely. The conference is called the Unstoppable Confidence Networking Conference. It's going to be held in Tempe, Arizona at the Tempe Mission Palms on next week, the 17th through the 19th. We have 8 breakout speakers who are going to completely rock your world. We have all types of different activities in that. I'm not one that, loves to just kind of stand in front of a room and just kind of talk to people. I want you to hear something, and then I want you to practice it. I want you to be able to implement it immediately and know how to utilize the information. So there'll be teaching and then practice, teaching and then practice. I will be bringing some really, really powerful content. And I can truly say that because, as we just said before, I come from a place of lacking confidence. I come from a place of not being a great networker just because I didn't really believe in myself, if you will. And So I'm coming from a true heart place here. I'm going to be really real and really raw in sharing how networking is so much bigger than walking into a room or us not being able to talk about who we are, that it starts much further back than we probably think. Not to mention the follow-up piece. That's the biggest thing is, all the work we do. If I do my pre-networking recon, I'm powerful in the room. I have great questions, but then I don't follow up. All of that is for naught. So I'm going to give you, I've developed a fail-proof follow-up formula that's going to just change your business without a doubt. This is one of those things that I'm telling you, if you will do this, you will see difference. You will see increase in your profit. You will see increase in your network. No doubt about it. And so we will be, discussing all of these things. This over 3 days. The speakers are coming from all over the United States. They have amazing expertise. Wanda is going to be our social media queen at the event. I know, right? We might want to give you a crown or something.
or maybe wear one of those things that the contestants.
Well, yeah, the big
right?
We have some great people. And I just want to say I'm so grateful for all of the people who've come on board and said, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to be in the room. I want to help. I want to attend. And I'm just really excited. There was a time I was looking at the date going, oh my God, it's almost here. And I do have those moments still. However, I will say that there's definitely a level of excitement that's building because I know that the information, if people will receive it and apply it, they'll see change. And I'm really big on transformation. I want to help people change their businesses and change their lives. I see we have a question.
Yeah,
Leah's
got a question on she's going to be at the Periscope Summit, which is a sold out. That's next week. So the reason she's going to meet the people she's met on Blab. That's an awesome thing. So her question is, Tish, what techniques can I use to network as I am working? Which that's a fine line. You've got to do what you're supposed to be doing. At the same time, how can she get snippets of networking in the flow of things there?
Well, this is my thing. I'd love to know what specifically, Leah, you're doing at the conference, because what I love to do, I always tell people, if you're going to volunteer at an event, go to the registration table. You get to meet every single person coming through the door at the registration table. Be a greeter, be a person in the registration area, or be one of those floaters that everyone has to go to with their questions, because that is a great way for you to be able to easily interact. And like Dan said, without breaking your contract by doing things you're not supposed to be doing while you're working. Right.
Your volunteer contract. So
right, I'm like, if they're expecting you to be on the camera somewhere, then I want you to be on your camera and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and what I've done in the past on those is to be the problem solver, because then then you become the hero. I've attended conferences, and it's just make me the challenge, the issue person, so that I can go. Right. And you have to deal with things sometimes, but you get to meet a lot of people, and then when you solve the problem, you're the hero.
Without a doubt. So one thing I would admonish you to do, Leah, is as much as you can in the next few days in preparation for it, do as much research on the overall summit. I'm sure it's new. Periscope is so new. Learn as much as you can about the overall conference or summit. Talk to the people who are putting it together so that you can be that go-to person, because number one, you're going to get to talk to more people. Number two, they're going to be looking for you next year to come back and volunteer again, because you've done such a great job. And then, of course, you'll get a chance to meet even more people. But it's all about positioning. So not knowing exactly what you're going to be doing there makes it a little bit more difficult. But if you have if you can volunteer for a specific post, I suggest you do the things we just mentioned and make sure that you position yourself to meet more. So you said you want to follow the rules, but you also want to be in the same space with those amazing persons and make connections. Exactly. Yeah. So if you get a chance to specifically tell them what you'd like to do, go for the places where the people are actually going to be hanging out, and you'll have a chance to talk. Because if you go and you're in a place where you have to be quiet, or you're supposed to be doing something else, it may not be as easy for you to interact with people. Hope that helps, Leah.
Yeah, when I saw Periscope conference, I'm like, oh my gosh, can you just imagine how many people are going to be periscoping during this?
I know.
They're going to have their phones up, and everybody behind them is going to have their phones up, or all periscoping at the same time. So.
That should be pretty cool. I know. We're going to do some periscoping in my conference, right, Wanda?
Absolutely, yes. But at the right times, and right. It's like right now, I am getting ready to launch actually a training on Periscope about how to use it. And one of the things I say is that taking it to a conference and bringing your audience with you through the experience is great, but obviously, there's got to be some housekeeping rules there. Right. As to when and at what time you actually do those type of things. But it's going to be interesting with all this new stuff that's coming out, like Periscope, how many people are going to start maybe creating an issue of interruption during people's talk time.
Well, not to mention, I know for us, we have a no recording rule because I don't own the content of the people who are going to be speaking on, you know what I mean? The breakout speakers are the people that are coming. So I can't allow people to, if it's their content, I don't want it to be off on, YouTube somewhere. And this is content that they want people to pay for. Right. So there is a thin line there, and it's going to be interesting, like you said, as we kind of shift in our technology, how people are going to handle that. But we're going to give people specific times to do certain social media challenges. So that'll make it easier for everybody to still get their social media, whatever platform they may be on but do it at the right times.
Absolutely. Well, if I see that Cynthia's still with us, Cynthia, do you want to hop on real quick and join this conversation? Because we know, and you're a good friend of all of ours, we know that you're an excellent networker, and we would love to have you in telling us a few things about what's worked for you in your business if you have the time, because I know you also have a Blab at 10 o'clock. So you might be trying to multitask right now, but if you have time, there she is. Awesome. We're going to add her in. There she goes. So, I'm really excited about the conference, and I know that Keena's put in the web link in order for people to get more information. So Keena, if you could do that again, there she goes. She's right on it. So that people know that they can go to that site and get in some more information about what you told us. Now, I see Cynthia trying to join, but unfortunately, she is, there it goes. All right.
Hey. Good morning, Tish. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Cynthia. Thanks for joining in and supporting our Blab today.
Absolutely. Hey, I apologize. I don't have headphones right here. I was eating breakfast and multitasking, but I wanted to jump in.
I knew it. I said she's probably super busy, but thanks for joining us. And, I know that you're an awesome networker as well. And you and I met through, actually, we belong to a group, a women's coaching group. Yes. Together. That's how we initially made contact. But then I got to meet you in person at the Success Summit for the first time, where I met Tish. Right. And if I hadn't met you, I would have never met Dan. So, here we are.
Wow. Right. I know. And I met Tish, I think, through another conference where you were at, or some other people. So it's just amazing. Right. The power of networking. And Tish, I really appreciate some of your thoughts especially about the fact of, don't just network to network. There needs to be a strategy to it. Right. You know what I mean? For the long term, especially. Right. You got to develop relationships, obviously, in the beginning, but then there needs to be some sort of strategy going forward. So I appreciate this Blab and the tips that you've given.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
You've heard a couple of different thoughts here on networking. Do you have a little nugget of your own that you found that's worked really well when you're networking with people, whether it's virtually or in person?
Well, all the things that you guys have talked about is so important. I mean, I really just always hone in on the developing of the relationships and providing the value, and just not, just don't give me a business card as soon as you meet me. Yes. That just turns me off so bad. If you're on Facebook, which I'll be talking about later, please don't tag me with your sales pitch if you haven't even asked me or I don't even really know you, right? I mean, common courtesy. I will do so much, and I know Tish will, and Wanda will, and Dan will, as far as helping one another out. But, just be sure to think first and understand that it's a give and take relationship. That's what authentic networking is about. And I think my final point, just to say, so get back to you guys, is just quality people will connect you with other quality people. So like Tish said in the beginning, don't worry about the numbers. I really have never been worried about the numbers. If you're connected with any of these people here, Dan, Wanda, and Tish, guess what? They're going to connect you with other quality people. So we all know each other. And you know what? If somebody needed something that Wanda does, Dan does, Tish does, of course I'm going to recommend them because I like, respect, and trust them. And they don't tag me on Facebook with their sales pitch without asking,
No, the other thing about that you bring to mind, it's probably my biggest pet peeve is on social media when you never say anything to me all year, but you private message me with, "Hi, I'd like you to try this new product," or "Can we schedule a talk for you to have my new coffee? I see you drink coffee." I'm like, "Yeah, I drink coffee all year. Why are you just not talking to me?"
Or at least if you're going to let me know about something that's going on, a conference or something that you're going to do, start out with, "Hi, how are you today?" You know what? I appreciate our connection, not just bam. This is my conference that I'm having. Sign up for it. So. Again, a common etiquette, just think of the simple things on what you would want and do it in return. So great topic, Tish. I know your event is going to be a huge success.
Thank you.
Yeah. You've got the best lady doing social media.
And I see positivity Crohn's is saying you need to build relationships, and that's what we're talking about. It is a relationship. You need to bring value to people before you start asking for favors, for one. And, you guys have brought so much great information on this Blab right here. I will tell you, for anybody that's listening in, even on the replay, this is information that you can use right away. And it's like dating, right? You don't want to, if you're meeting somebody for the first time on a date, you don't want to instantly just kind of go, well, this is all me, all me, all me. You want to make it about them. You want to learn more about that person on the other side of the table. Right. So that's how I always look at it. It's like dating. You got to be kind.
Yes. No, hi, how are you? Let's get married. There's got to be a little bit of, date me for a minute before you ask for all that. Yeah.
Right. Well, Tish, I know that you've got a lot of stuff to do in order to get prepared for next week's event. And I so appreciate you being on this Blab with us today and sharing your words of wisdom. Dan, Cynthia, thank you for joining in.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
And if you missed any of this, I am recording it, so there will be a replay. So please be sure to go back and listen to all the great information that's been provided today. And if you have an opportunity, Tish, you still have a couple of tickets left, right, to be able to attend the event.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be next week. It's going to run Thursday through Saturday. And you'll see in the stream that there is a link that you can go and check out that conference. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And we so appreciate your time on the other side of it as well. And thank you, everyone. Have an excellent day.
Awesome. Thank you for great content. Bye.